I don't know why Pluto's being such a little bitch right now, but Pluto has that intensity. And as I've been wandering through life as of late, Pluto, I feel, has been hitting me over the head with a frying pan. And as I sit and digest what this message is today, how it could potentially hold life-changing energy, it feels like stepping back outside of myself, like a third-person perspective, where I'm viewing myself through this weird, foggy lens. And as I step a little bit further back, and also forward somehow simultaneously, I'm beginning to see through the haze or through this daze or cloud of instability what Pluto's lesson is actually trying to teach us. So Pluto sitting here feels like the fires of transformation, transmutation, but it has a sort of insistency to it. And as it is recently stationed to go retrograde, to start moving backwards ever so slowly, tiptoeing into this sort of moonwalk dance, I feel like Pluto just don't give a fuck. Pluto doesn't care what life circumstances you have going on right now that feel stable to you. Pluto doesn't care how clearly you think you see something. Pluto only cares about creating massive change. This is a power dynamic that the structures that have been in your life will fail. Pluto is testing them excruciatingly to see what holds up and what cannot, what would not have been able to last no matter what happened, whether things were stress tested or not. But Pluto's coming in to stress test and be like, well, fuck you if you think this is stable, because it needs to go. And in my life, this is showing up as a mindset. This is showing up as mental fragility. This is showing up as testing my boundaries of my mind and the feeling of stability that is so fragile at times, especially dealing with mental health and diseases and disorders of the mind. ADHD is a real son of a bitch, I can tell you that much. Autism doesn't make it any easier, just adds a little bit more spice. And my God, is it al fuego. So when Pluto is dancing through, in my part of the chart, the 9th house, you'll have to check what yours is, but it's there in Aquarius, and it's getting me to look at my belief systems. It's getting me to understand my mindset around things, and it's questioning me to expand what I've previously been taught, what information I've absorbed, different conjectures that I've witnessed and interpreted as my own or integrated without even realizing that they weren't mine. And where I've been, God damn it, fucking projecting. Where have I been projecting onto the world these beliefs that maybe on some level are actually false? And how does that make me have to face myself? So into those fires of Pluto, it's like a descent into the underworld of Hades, and having to kind of go and face these parts of myself that have been relegated to that domain, that have not been allowed to surface and see the light of day because these beliefs were in some ways suppressing or blocking them, blocking those parts of myself. And so with Hades, it feels like soul retrieval. It's like going into the underworld to find these lost parts of the self. And I've been getting a lot of messages coming through about soul fragmentation, lost parts of the consciousness, trauma, and soul splitting, and how to retrieve and reintegrate those fractured parts of the consciousness. And so this is like deep Jungian psychological archetypal work, but I'm not paralleling this with the 8th house of the psyche. This is in my 9th house, which is bizarre because this is like global concepts and global beliefs and my faith and my belief in spirituality and religion and the templates of my mind that have created some form of structure that have given me this sort of false idolized sense of stability. So it's like the 8th house is coming to usurp the 9th house. It's coming in to question the facade of those mental faculties. It's coming in to create instability, ripping the rug out from underneath the 9th house to say, how have those beliefs held you up in times of falling? Have they? Can they? And where do you need to strengthen them so that when that rug gets ripped out from underneath, or when that other shoe drops, it doesn't fall so hard on the floor? There's something cushioning the blow, or perhaps we just begin to levitate. The rug gets ripped out from underneath, but it doesn't matter because it's a flying carpet. So this is this kind of bizarre interchange between these two houses that I'm seeing. And they are neighbors, 8th house, 9th house. And this is how I'm kind of psychically getting in tune with it. But it's very challenging to see these things through to the end, because Pluto is the end. And so is, actually, now that I think about it, so is the 9th house. Number 9 is about endings, conclusions, finalizations, and even closure. And getting closure here feels to me like psychically witnessing all of these different perceptual strongholds that I've built in my mind, like forts of stability against outside attack, and where some of that just was not necessary. It's like I'm standing on the front line holding my spear, my bow and arrow, my sword, whatever, and fighting off these false intruders that really aren't there at all. It's like a hallucination. Not saying that I'm hallucinating, but this is the metaphor that's coming through. This is the symbology. And so I'm having to kind of look at my weapons of choice and look at the foundations that I have chosen to fortify, and where those have falsely come from places inside myself that really don't need that kind of protection. And actually, it would be better served if they went outside the fort walls and they explored beyond the boundaries, which, oh, by the way, 9th house, exploration, expansion, higher learning through experience, subjective experience. And this is what Pluto, in this Hades realm of my 9th house of beliefs and higher beliefs and optimism, by the way, it's like the universal learning center, is attempting to teach me. And it has a bit of a stranglehold, but the stranglehold is helping me to put down some of those weapons. It's helping me to drop that guard a little bit so that I can push past some superfluous boundaries that I've put in place and not project myself out into the environment, but simply to witness it with neutrality, which is difficult because, as we all know, we all have this capacity to project based on our past, based on our fears, based on our wants and desires, all of that. It kind of comes part and parcel with having eyes at all. Like, if we have eyeballs to see, even if we don't, we're still going to project on some level. Because what we're seeing outside of us, the reality around us, is not just a construct of what is physically there. It's also going through this shade or this lens, this fog, if you will, of our subjective experience, of everything that we've witnessed, everything that we've learned, everything that's been imprinted into us, everything that we've come to believe based on our own personal subjective experience. And that can really mess with what we're actually experiencing out in the world. It's like, does a bear shit in the woods? Yes. Does a tree make a sound if it falls in the woods and nobody's around to hear it? Yes. But also no? Who knows? It's like Schrodinger's cat. The cat is both alive and dead in the box simultaneously until we look at it, until we witness it, until we observe it, and then it molecularly materializes down into form. This is kind of what I'm getting at here. It's like I've been looking through this lens of fog, all of this disturbance of the mind that has made it really difficult to see clearly because of those malfunctions. And each time I predict something, it's on some level true because I'm witnessing it that way or I'm believing it, whether or not it actually comes to pass. And this is especially tricky being a highly perceptive, highly sensitive, psychic individual, because predictions can become things. And often I'm shown stuff about the future that I have no context for in the present until it comes to pass. So it's this weird sort of dialogue between me and reality, the universe, the future, the past, the present, and it all kind of mushes together in this like smashed banana soup. I don't know why that's the imagery coming through, but it's like a bowl of smashed banana that somehow liquid has been added to, and it's like this mushy mess. What does that even mean? I don't know. But that's that. That's what it looks like. And it's like, what do I do with this? What do I make out of that? How do I deal with it? I don't know. I'm still trying to figure it out. And I'm hearing batten down the hatches. It's like the ship is rocking. Pluto is rocking the boat. And this storm is here. It's very clearly present. It's like a clear and present danger. And at the same time, the danger isn't the storm. The danger is the mind that is witnessing the storm, how it is interpreting it, how it is interacting with it, and what it feels it needs to take in terms of precautions. Like, for example, battening down the hatches. Maybe it would be better not to. Maybe it would be better to let things fly in the wind because they need to be ripped apart, because that's going to take us to the destination that is most appropriate. But it's difficult to do that. How can you just let a storm roll in and sit there in neutrality, like lotus pose, Buddha, completely passive? Like, that's almost impossible. It's not impossible. It might feel a little improbable, but it's like the ego's attachment to try and mindfully witness is really difficult because it wants to control. It wants to subvert reality and bend it to its own will. And the power of Pluto is coming in and saying, no, you can't and you will not do that. Your will might be strong, but the divine will is stronger, much more powerful. And so there's an aspect of necessary surrender that comes along with that. And as soon as I said surrender, I saw somebody handing me keys, like a ring of keys. And I'm hearing the word full potential. Oh, okay. So it's like that surrender, opening up to the moment, letting it be what it is, being tossed by the wind in this ship and just seeing where it takes me, where it takes us, where it takes you, collective, etc., is important. It's like that has some special key. And it feels like intonation. And I'm also hearing the word interpretation, intonation and interpretation. Being able to see what you want without bypassing what is. And the whirlwind is whipping, and the sea is frothing, and the wildness of this canine with rabies is bearing its shackles. But the power is being tapped into, and it's unlimited. It's an unlimited source of power. This is what Pluto is truly trying to teach. And I'm hearing Lord of Shadows, and I'm seeing Cerberus, the three-headed guard dog of hell. And it's like there's a shadow being behind him with Cerberus on the leash, and he's helping to untangle something here. And that growling grit of the guard dogs is also somehow shaking something loose. It's like the rumbling of the earth coming from the throat of this massive beast is somehow shaking things up. Now we're getting very esoteric. That's not the right word, is it? We're getting very symbolic. And this mishmash of the banana soup is coming back up again, and it feels like the caterpillar goo being inside the chrysalis. You know, when the caterpillar is going through the transformative process of becoming the butterfly. And I'm hearing mutton chops. That's so random. Mutton chops. Like lamb chop, or are we talking about sideburns? The sideburns. The inside, it burns when everything is getting melted down, molted into something else. And it's like it's being transformed, it's burning down to dust or to ashes, and then it's rising back up out of it as something completely different, something that can take flight, that's not limited to that third dimensional plane or anchored to something false. It's like the rug can't be ripped out from underneath the butterfly or the phoenix because it's got wings to be able to take off. And here we kind of are back at that flying carpet reference again. A whole new world reminds me of that. And everything feels like a warning signal right now. Everything feels like too much. Everything feels like it needs a response. The amygdala is firing like crazy. Fight, flight, freeze, fawn, respond, 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 warning sign, warning sign, warning sign, red light, flashing. All these red flags going off. And the instinct, the impulse is to survive. It is to protect. It is to build that fort stronger instead of being allowed to wander out into the wild and burn down into ashes or mash yourself into mush or allow yourself to be moved in that way, manipulated into something different, like clay being formed by the hands of the divine. But it's an uncomfortable process. This is like really deep, powerful, psychic potential that is activating all of these psychic depth wounds. Oh my God, the discomfort is palpable. And it's like, I don't want to look at it. I see that shadow, don't want to look it in the eyes, but until we do, it will continue to follow. And it's like a meat grinder is what we're being put into right now. We go in one form, we get ground down into mush, and we get built into something else. And it is painful, undoubtedly. And there's really no way to avoid that. There's really no way to get around that. It just kind of is what it is. But it sucks because the human mind just constantly seeks pleasure and wants to avoid discomfort. So it makes this whole process a lot more difficult. If we had some way to override that and just kind of like allow discomfort to be there as a process, as an experience that we understood was valuable, not just from the retrospective perspective of like, okay, this is going to be worth it in the end, but actually like, okay, this is good in the moment because I needed this. It's like not shielding from something that's actually trying to help you, to manifest you into a different form. And my God, the mind does not like to be changed, even though it is so naturally plastic. It is so naturally adaptable, and yet it wants to stay firmly, rigidly placed in the way things have been. But the way things are right now are not the way they have been, and they are not yet formed into what they will become. This is deeply uncomfortable, being in that liminal space, being in the in-between, not yet fully formed. It's painful to just kind of have to sit there and endure the storm, or to be fully conscious and aware as this previous self putrefies in this sack of evolution. It's painful. I keep reiterating that because it's fucking painful. And yet here we are. There's nothing we can do about it. So if we can't change the circumstances, then what do? Well, we have to change the way that we're perceiving the circumstances. We have to choose a different perspective. That's really the only form of control that we have. And this is what Pluto does. It teaches us about control, where we seek it and how we apply it. And sometimes when we try to apply that control to the outside rather than on the inside, we're actually giving up our control. We're reducing our power. We're creating false power, false witness, false assumptions that build false boundaries that limit rather than sustain or maintain even. And so this chaos, this destruction comes in, forces us to contemplate that experience and to try to navigate it as best we can by turning us inward on ourselves. This infinite fractal starting to have to force to face itself. It's like looking in a mirror that is faced with another mirror. You're seeing into the infinity, but really you're just looking at yourself. And being forced to put down that need for control so that the acquiescence and the surrender to what is can take place. And that's where we embrace the full control, or we become someone that has more power going out the other side, because nothing can shake us. No storm, no lightning bolt, no circumstance that we're thrust into, no mush that we are mashed into unwillingly or willingly can force us into a position of disempowerment. We become better able to adapt and to manage, and not through simple survival coping strategies, but through self-attenuation. through self-becoming. And in that, we know we're okay. Even when we're not okay, we're okay, because it's okay to not be okay. That good old mental health slogan. It's okay to not be okay. And in this case, it feels a little bit like pay to play. And what are we paying with? Our willingness to step through the gauntlet, our willingness to be mashed down, dissolved, practically deconstructed, our willingness to surrender despite the discomfort, or our willingness to endure it. And there's something about sympathy coming through as well. It's like sympathy for the witnessing of the suffering, sympathy without this victim mindset. I feel like it leads to evolution in some way. It's like we can have sympathy for that part of the self without falling into a why me or poor me mentality, because that just would warp the situation into more chaos, which is also fine. Maybe that's what's needed. Who knows? Each of us is on our own journey. We're figuring it out the best way that we can. But it feels like situationally, this power to just neutrally witness or even to participate in the deconstruction in some way and to be okay with it allows this power dynamic to shift. And the payment has been made. The sacrifice has been offered to the gods. And so the blessing of safe passage occurs. And that's what is so life-changing. That's what this experience is offering you, is offering me, is offering us. This collective passage bodes very well for us in the long run. But again, we're not looking at this as a retrospective win. We're looking at this as an experience right now that we're willing to bet on. We're willing to take that risk. We're willing to do or die, to put ourselves on that mountain path of struggle, to fight the demons in the depths, the lowest low and the highest peak, and smote our foes' ruin upon the mountainside. Thank you, J.R.R. Tolkien, for the inspiration. And in doing so, look at ourselves a little bit more clearly, because what we've just killed off is some better part of ourself that is now adjusting to a new regime, a new understanding of this ever-evolving, ever-present person that we are becoming, and the purpose behind that will really only become clear in time. So I guess we just got to give time, and while we wait, endure, but not to abate the suffering, simply to acknowledge it as an experience that's worth having, just as much as pleasure. So that's it. That's the message today. If anybody found this, I hope it was helpful. I hope that you took something from it, and I will come back again when I have another.